What's up? Hey, what's up, you guys? It's me, Odur, aka The Overview, back again, and man, I can just say, even though Scream 7 wasn't the highlight of the night, I can just say the prologue, or should I say the opening sequence, was Scary Movie 6. So we got our first trailer for Scary Movie 6 on the big screen, and funny enough, part of me was like, is this trailer gonna pop up at some point? Because I'm like, we're nearing close to the start of this movie, and once the show said Red Band trailer, I said, okay, we're in for it, baby. Let's do this. The trailer isn't online legally because I feel like some people thought, okay, they're gonna release it on Thursday. Then Friday morning, I thought, okay, they're gonna release the trailer, but no, it's gonna be releasing officially on Monday. So I'm gonna pinpoint the things I actually saw in the movie and actually commentate on things I actually liked. You'll get the natural reaction on Monday, but I'm just gonna talk about the trailer here. It starts out in the subway, just like the scene in Scream 6, except you've seen actual horror movie masks from Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw, Hard Eyes, even in the background, you saw characters like Chucky until you see Megan come out, start doing a little dancing routine, revealing himself. And once she took off that mask, it was Ghostface himself. And also a new updated design where I thought, okay, it's the same mask, but instead of it looking old school like the 90s version, it's actually with a new mold where I'm not going to lie, it's almost like the new Fun World designs they actually have for the Scary Movie mask. It notably resembles this design, but the thing is that instead of like the smile, everything is exactly like the old school Scream mask, but more like the parody version of it. I thought they were gonna pull a Scream 6 and actually age up the mask or actually do something with the structure of it, but it's just the same mask, but just updated. He stabs the parody of Mindy, and you see a little woman on the subway saying, "Oh my god, he stabbed her!" And she looks at him like, she stabbed them. My pronouns are they, them. That to me as a little opening joke kind of said, oh, we're doing that. Okay. Something that resembles some of the old school humor, but yeah, it's a little bit more on the nose than what I would have expected because I thought they were going to do a joke later along where you see somebody like, my pronouns are they, them? And somebody saying, I don't know what that means and makes fun of the idea itself. And see Shorty saying, we're back, where you see Kai Sinet and some other people in the background with Ghostface too, which I don't know if it's just me, but when I saw Kai Sinet, I was like, it took me a little bit out of it, but then it gets like, well, he did kind of show up on his stream, and during the Mafia-thon, he did kind of ask to be in this movie. Where I thought, well, streamers and these things, I'm not even sure if that's a good idea because they can do funny stuff in a stream, but I need actual comedians in my comedies. And some of the ones where I'm like, okay, they're not just bringing them in for new audiences. We get to see Cindy and Brenda meet up with each other, and funny enough, it seems like they're taking a little bit of inspiration from Blumhouse, where Cindy's looks is actually Jamie Lee Curtis from Halloween 2018, and a little bit of weapons because she kind of did look like Aunt Gladys, where her glasses were down on the side, her hair was all raggedy, and she had the red lipstick on. Brenda looks like Ma, where I was like, I saw the hairstyle and the clothes, and I said, is Brenda gonna be Ma in this case? And funny enough, later along we see a scene of a party. Even the joke, they got a couple people a little bit like, ooh, but also smiling and laughing. It was when Cindy looks at Brenda and says, oh, I'm a Republican now, so that means I'm racist. And Brenda looks at her like, girl, I think all white people are racist anyway, which funny enough, isn't that a common fact? That isn't just a joke. After some of the parodies and references, most of the majority of them are basically Scream related because it's taking place a majority of Scream 5 and 6, even though Cindy has her own little version of Sam going to her for help, and someone looking like exactly Richie, where I'm like, okay, I don't know where they find these parody versions of people who look like the actors, but those two notably feel like, okay, they actually did kind of pull off a good decent amount. And most notably, their version of Tara, which is basically like a parody of Wednesday, calling her Tuesday. Sinners is reference where you see their version of Remick and the two clan people actually go up to the house where it's like, we're here to drink, play bad music, do some half gay shit. That had me cracking up, but most notably, the ending was when Ray popped out saying, what do you mean half gay? And you see the guy actually look surprised and like, oh, I didn't expect that. It shifts into a montage of Ghostface fighting Cindy, a couple references where they were a little bit too fast, but also I feel like it would be easier to see in clear view, where you see the substance being used, but also called the stuff, which it is recent and also an idea I thought people were going to say, oh, is going to be referencing the substance, but instead of the substance actually being like a parody, it was going to be the reason why they all came back, which didn't sound bad on paper. Get Out is reference when Shorty's descending into the chair. You see Doofy and Gail back in this, where I'm like, okay, so are they not aware that Doofy's the serial killer? Are they not aware that Doofy's Ghostface and he's just running around doing this again? Longlegs gets a brief mention in this, where it's funny that the makeup looks a little bit almost like Nicolas Cage, but also you can tell that it's a little bit of the jokey side because it has that weird white chicks filter to it. But this had a good way to end off the trailer where you see Art the Clown actually doing the scene from Terrifier 3, which was kind of mentioned a bit a couple weeks ago, where Felicia Rose, who was in that movie, said that, oh, we're going to be doing a scene from Terrifier 3, but it's going to be like the mall scene. I wasn't sure what exactly was going to be the context because I thought it was going to be a thing where they do the other movies first instead of going straight to Terrifier 3. But most notably, I like that the fact that the Art the Clown looks a little bit jokey, but it doesn't have like the serious David Howard Thornton makeup where it's just, oh, Art the Clown's mask, but you see all the eyeballs are a little bit all red lined and bugged out. And instead of in Terrifier 3 where he gave the kids presents, he gave a little girl a severed arm, and you see a little girl holding a ball sack. Like, what the fuck? Drops it. That was the little needle bomb that said, okay, they're pulling it a little bit like that. If they're going to be going with this type of humor, not just for the sake of shock, but also just comedic with the sense of, oh, we're dealing with the rules of these characters and actually bending what normally we would think. Because we've seen Art the Clown use a chainsaw against somebody's balls before and stab a dick out, but yeah, that kind of said, oh, they're making fun of that a lot. We get the Toddy Card Scary Movie, which didn't include the six. That tells me, oh, they're doing the same way Halloween and Scream did their versions of, oh, actually calling it Scream or just Scary Movie without the numbers in it. And because they kind of did that before with the fifth one, where they did the V as like the five. And the trailer ends with Shorty and Ray commenting on how Halloween would be without Jamie Lee Curtis and Scream be without Nev Campbell, which Shorty responds, that would be Scream 6. Kind of a good way to end off the trailer, but also funny enough, it's one of those, yeah, if we're going to be dogging on Scream and things they've been doing lately, I'm surprised for a couple bits in this trailer, they're more Scream related, where I'm like, a couple of these are really recent type of things where I'm like, yeah, if you're making fun of your new movie by using this movie as promotion and seeing as though you're making fun of yourselves by making these decisions, I'd actually want to see them actually go full balls deep and actually break down what they've been doing with Scream lately, especially the behind the scenes because there's a lot of things you have to factor in that one. As for the trailer, it's actually kind of cool to see the Waynes back together and seeing as though, yeah, this feels more in line with the first two than the last three because you could say Scary Movie 3 had a mix of two minds where they stole the Wayne's idea, but they also tried to include their own thing to it, where it's like you can kind of see it, but also you can tell where the cracks fall, where it's like, yeah, this is not normally what I would see from the first two movies, but this is more of the parody subgenre that's been going on for some of the other things like Naked Gun and Airplane. The trailer was fun to see on the big screen, but also tells me, you know what? Old school style when they revealed new trailers for movies before upcoming movies of certain studios. That's a trend I feel like I liked it back then when they did it with kids animated movies. And we're certain movies where I was like, oh, I'd go see a certain thing like Transformers, but not realize, wait a minute, what movie is this? And it's Cloverfield later along where they didn't even release a title for it yet. Seeing it on the big screen is a good time, especially before a movie like this. And when they get the trailer online, I might as well just see what exactly I missed because I feel like there's some references and key moments where I'm like, oh, this reminds me of this. But also, I wonder if I wouldn't say exactly they're going to be doing this, but the poster for this thing hasn't even dropped yet. But I wonder if that poster is going to be the old school, oh, everybody's sitting in a movie theater, but with updated versions of what the designs are. That's a common thread I'm seeing with these scary movie posters, but at least I hope they keep on that tradition. All right, guys, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. All my social media is down in the description below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.